Okay, so I've been doing a series on property taxes in Texas, and we're going to talk about ag exemption. It's not an actual exemption, referred to as a 1D1 open space agricultural valuation. That means that the land is taxed at its productive ag value, not the full market value. In layman's terms, they tax the dirt based on what it can produce, not what someone would pay to buy it. There are some states, especially Texas, who have been land and ag driven since the dawn of time. Since they didn't create an ag valuation to be nice, it's because if ag land was taxed at developer pricing, working families would get taxed right out of their farm. I have a ranch growing next to a city. Because of its location, it's worth millions upon millions to a developer. But the family living on it, they're living off of an agricultural income, only earns a very meager living. If you're buying an agricultural property that already currently has an ag exemption, please know that when you purchase it, it doesn't automatically transfer over to the new owner. You have to reapply for it, and you have to do that by April 30th. There are many ways that you can qualify, and it is definitely specific to the area that you live, but things like livestock, sheep, goats, hay, producing crops like corn, cotton, rice, bees, if you're gonna beekeep, wildlife management, which I could go off on a tangent alone on wildlife management, and timber. Now remember, again, each county sets their own qualifications for them. And for those of you who aren't familiar with it, let me do some math for you so you'll understand just how significant the property tax savings are. So on this 27-acre tract of land, they have a market value of it about $205,000, but it qualifies for special use because it has hay production on it. The actual assessed value is about $5,000. A savings of almost $5,000 in property taxes a year. So what you'll see a lot of times in the country is people will buy 20 acres and then they'll survey out 1 acre tract and designate that as their homestead because it has their primary residence on it. And then the remainder of the property, they're going to qualify it in some sort of special ag use, one of these categories that I talked about. Otherwise, that property tax value would be sky high. You need to keep that in mind whenever you're looking for property outside of the city limits. Does it have an ag exemption on it currently? What are the qualifications? What are you going to do with that property? Because you don't want to find out later that you lost your ag exemption, it doesn't qualify, and then you could be potentially subject to rollback taxes, which is 2 years of backdated taxes. Yes, there are people that do take advantage of it, but I live in a small rural community. I'm from a farming family, so I can see firsthand how important this is to farming communities. If you're buying a place and your agent isn't talking to you about some of this stuff, you could be in for a real property tax treat. If you have questions about any of this, you need to go walk into your local appraisal district where the property is located and talk to them about the steps. They're so helpful.